something that can make you do wrong, make you do right. Yeah. Love.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love and a happy
the Reverend Al
place.
Green.
Wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone.
Welcome to the BAMF podcast, episode 3. I think I got some echo shit going on right here now, but welcome. I'm going to try to do a different song every time, something that's makes sense for me. Down in the lab, in the workshop, got a little Black and Mild here, so if you haven't had one, you should get one. One of my all-time favorites. So listen, as usual, unscripted. There's a lot of stuff going on in my house. Footsteps, dog barking, furnace running, so, forgive me for the ambient noise, but we're going to talk about relationships. Cue the Reverend. But listen, man, I've got a couple philosophies on this, okay? Let me start by saying that I have been married 20 years, in a relationship for 27. Not all perfect. More better than bad, so that's the goal. Not really talking about me here today, right? So what I'm going to talk about is observations I have made in my life with friends and coworkers and people I've seen out in the world. I've got a couple fundamental philosophies on who works and who doesn't, and let's go with that, right? So in my mind, I keep it very basic, right? So it is the couples that work, to me, are the couples that are allowed to stay some version of themselves, okay? And the ones that don't work are the ones typically that go into where the husband tries to change the wife tries to change the husband. Doesn't always work out. So I'll start with this. So it is my belief that the reason somebody would stay together would be the reason why they got together in the first place. Okay, what is that first thing that draws a couple together? Right. To me, it's kind of like chemistry, and I don't mean chemistry in the sappy love sense. I mean chemistry in the pheromones and all that shit. But why are you with your significant other right now? Right? Why did you originally get with them? It's probably because you saw them somewhere, you looked at them, they looked at you, you felt a spark. One thing led to another, boom, boom, boom. You're a couple, you're married, kids, but etc. Or none of the above. But that is the fundamental reason why most of us are with somebody else, right? We had some initial spark at some point, some initial reaction, some connection, something that drew you to that person, something that kept you with that person, something that joined you enough to start a life together. Okay. The ones that I find don't stay together are the ones that lose sight of that. So let's throw out an example. Okay. And for this example, I'll throw sort of a man and a woman. It could be whatever. This is just the one I'm using. Okay. So I've seen in my lifetime a couple different examples to where, and I've definitely seen it both ways, but let's use this example. Man and a woman get together. Okay. Like every love affair, hot, heavy, everything's good to start. Then, cohabitation starts. You got to share space, share bills. Yeah, money, kids, responsibilities, all that stuff. Um, but where it starts to go wrong is these couples were and again, in this example, I'm going to use the wife towards the husband, but it goes both ways. It's that sort of oppression, right? It is, the wife doesn't like the guy's buddies, doesn't like what he does with the buddies, could even be his family, doesn't like his family, so starts to, make suggestions that, I really don't like you hanging out with that person. I really don't like your mom. I really don't want to hang out with them. And most people, again, we're just trying to get by, right? So, not I'm not even going to use the word submissive, but most passive people will, you're trying to make your spouse happy, right? That's part of being married or part of being together is so you'll start maybe dressing how she wants you to dress. We'll start there, okay? Somebody needs the help, but not everybody does. But so you're wearing what she wants you to wear, right? You're eating what she wants you to eat. You're going the places she wants you to go. Consequently, you are no longer going the places that you wanted to go. You're not hanging out with the people you wanted to go with. You're not doing the things that normally brought you joy. You essentially lose yourself in becoming this person that your spouse suggested you be. Now, a couple things happen over a long period of time, right? Obviously, option one is nothing. Some people just live in their misery and too lazy to get divorced or split up or are just passive in nature and just kind of go through it, right? These are these miserable old couples you see and who I get them coming in the dealership, they're fighting cats and dogs and we've been married 50 years. And I go, I don't fucking know why, but it happens, right? So what I find happens mostly in these situations is resentment. Okay, so and it works both ways. Not only does at some point the person that has been changed come to the realization that they wake up one day and they don't have their buddies anymore. They don't really do what they wanted to do anymore. They don't dress how they used to like to dress anymore. For some of you, that's a good thing. Don't wear your hair the way you want to wear it. Don't talk how you used to talk, etc. You might not even live where you want to live. And, at some point, I think none of us really want to be oppressed, right? So it's our nature to kind of fall back on, the building blocks of who we are. So what I've seen is that resentment can kind of creep in at some point, right? To where that could be a reason for divorce later is the one that has been changed the most, wakes up one day and says, God, I don't got any buddies. I don't play golf anymore. I don't do this anymore. Oh, and she treats me like shit and I'm fucking miserable. I'm not going to give a million disclaimers, but again, these are these are scenarios that I'm going to give that apply either way. These are all just hypotheticals. I'm not talking about fucking anybody. But, so, you have that realization that you have lost what it is that makes you, and sometimes you kick back, right? And when you kick back, sometimes that ends badly, right? Also what I've seen happen is, after 20 some years, you have finally become the person that she said she wanted you to be. Okay? You I don't want to repeat myself, but you wear what she tells you to wear. You wear your hair like she tells you to wear it. You work. You do what she wants you to do. You see who she wants you to see. You hang out with who she wants you to hang out with. And then she starts to resent you because you are now a fucking pussy, right? And again, I would say, why did that woman get with that man in the first place? Because she's a woman and he's a man in this scenario, right? It's that initial animal attraction, okay? Why do two animals get together in the wild? right? There's certain things that draw them in, and you know, it goes from there. But and I've seen that to where now, now your wife fucking hates you, you hate your wife, and at some point you both look at each other, you fucking hate each other, and then it's over, right? Likewise, the ones I've seen, the couples I've seen that are the best for the longest, they've both been able to be their stupid ass selves the whole time, right? So it's not always easy to do, right? I think it's very human to assimilate to one another and likewise push your feelings and agenda on one another, and not only agenda but push your likes and tastes and on who is ever closer to you. But it's a slippery slope. If you give up what it is that makes you you, eventually you're nobody, right? And who wants to be married to nobody? And who does nobody want to be married to? It's a great question. So the moral of that story is, be yourself. Let them be themselves as much as you can, right? If your spouse dresses like an asshole, I'm not saying don't suggest that maybe they wear something different. But support each other in what you like to do, right? Have a little bit of me time. Right, it gets tough with kids and bills, and you add those extra stresses on, and there's a ton of those right now with COVID, and people losing their jobs and making less money, and there's a lot of questions, right? The kids are stressed, and there's a lot of uncertainty. That's the understatement of the year, I guess. But stay strong in your convictions, stay strong in about who you are and what your opinions are, and talk about those with your spouse. Don't impose them, okay? Now, some of you are laughing. Probably most of my buddies are laughing because I get a lot of shit because I come off as this sort of, domineering personality. But I let Kim do her fucking thing, man. And likewise, she mostly lets me do mine. Now, listen, we headbutt and fight like cats and dogs off and on, but normally we can get past it. But, if I want to play fucking golf, I go play golf. And, if she wants to go work out at 27 different gyms, she can go do that. And I never get in her way of doing that. And she never really gets in my way of doing what I want to do. Now, I've never really let her get in the way of me doing what I want to do. All the while taking care of what I need to take care of, right? I pay the bills, I support my kids, and, we got a roof over our head and nice shit to drive, etc. Good clothes and a couple of pairs of J's. All the Black and Milds you can smoke. And life is good at the Sturm house, right? So, but the reason, one of the reasons we're still together is I do me, she does her, and, everything else we kind of just figure out. But if you don't let your significant other do them, it's probably not going to work out for you at some point. At some point it's going to come to a head, whether it's the changer or the changee. There's always going to be some spite that gets built up over time, and it's a recipe for disaster. These are just things I've seen. I've had a couple coworkers go through this, and friends and family members that have gone through these sort of things. And it's just my observation, just my 2 cents. Like any of this, my normal disclaimer is, if you don't agree with me, that's cool. There's other shit to listen to. But that's that one, right? So that was, the cue in of Love and Happiness from the Reverend Al Green. Something make you do right, make you do wrong. But that's my 2 cents on that. So Stop being oppressed and stop being oppressive. Support each other. If you've been doing that for 20 years, it's not too late. You know, find what, makes each other happy and let them do that. You know, a lot of us are getting to that age to where, man, I mean, technically, on paper, I could be an empty nester next year, right? On paper. Now, if college is online for the foreseeable future, then that will go longer than we think, and that's fine. But for all of us at this age, right, where these kids are leaving the nest, and sometimes it's easy to stay together when you're miserable because you just got so much other shit going on, kids and stuff, that it's very inconvenient to do something else. But what you see, what I've seen in peers and coworkers and close customers, is that you get to 50 and your kids are both out of the house, and it's just you two again, right? It's like the curious case of Benjamin Buttons. You're right back where you started, and if you can't fucking get along, or you can't enjoy each other, and you can't let each other enjoy what makes them happy, you're going to be starting over, right? And for some of you, that means you're going to give up half your shit. So be careful. That's probably it on that one, right? I'm talking too long on that one. I'm 15, 16 minutes in on that. So moving on. This has been really neat for me these last couple days, just getting a ton of feedback, right? And I had one of my best friends actually sent me an email yesterday with some bullet points, and it was titled "Things I Appreciate About You," and sort of some suggestions on what I should talk about. So all of them awesome. Again, this is one of my best buddies. So he took the time to write this out, knows me very, very well, and but it was a lot of cool stuff, right? It was tell old war stories about the moving business, dealership stuff, golf stuff, food stuff. I'm a foodie, man. I'm a foodie. I like to cook. Y'all know I like to eat. Career plus size model. Love to eat. I love learning about it. I love watching things about it. I love the technique. I'm a griller. I'm a smoker. Love to do all that shit. I even dabble with the baking from time to time, just to stay well rounded. It's fun. I like to create stuff, right? So food is one way to do that. I like there's not too many things more gratifying than making something that others can enjoy. Watching the fruits of your labor be thoroughly enjoyed by somebody else. That is super gratifying. Something I very much missed out on this year, because we took the I suppose the sensible, pragmatic approach and canceled Thanksgiving, which is normally a big to-do. I do probably about 85% of it. I love it. I love entertaining. I love the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into making great stuff that people really, really enjoy. It's my goal to make it the best meal they eat the whole year. I kind of do the same thing Christmas. I do part of it. The other part I get from Shark's Barbecue on Rochester Road in Troy. What up, Lou? If you haven't been there, stop by there. Get some stuff. Best brisket. They're not making brisket in Texas better than that. So Aaron Franklin could watch my boy Lou and pick up a few things or two. So we do barbecue on Christmas Day at my house. That has been the thing up till this year, right? It was just the four of us, so did a prime rib for something to be different. But I thoroughly enjoy the process. I love making food. I love eating food. I love the creativity involved. I consider myself somewhat of a creative person. I like to I have the reason I have a golf shop is because I like to fuck around with golf clubs, and one of the things I fuck around with is not just the mechanical stuff of grips, shafts, that sort of thing, but I paint stuff. I paint wedges, putters. Started out just me kind of doing my own stuff. I do mine, I do marquees, I do my buddies. If you have wedges that you would like to paint to be refilled or some stamping done, I can do that for you. I don't do it as a business, I do it as a hobby, so you just have to come and watch me do it. But it's a lot of fun. It's something I sort of watched on YouTube. And there's an awesome guy on Instagram. His name is Anthony Taranto, and he works for Callaway. And he is basically a wedge artist. He has created custom wedges for most of their tour pros and celebrities and stuff for the last, I think he's been doing that for the last 20 years, just about. But super fun stuff to look at. He turns these wedges into art, and it's super cool. He's sort of my inspiration on that, so I like to fuck around with that and do that stuff myself. And my golf gear, like, to me, is like my clothes or my shoes. I like to be unique. I don't want my shit to look like everybody else's. Right, my son has deemed me the king of random customizations, so I like to do different shit like that. My sheesh, we're gonna start screwing around and doing custom Air Force Ones. So I'm getting the acrylic paints, I'm getting the airbrush. We're gonna mask them off, do some cool stuff. She is a super good artist. She's got a 10-foot mural on her wall that she painted freehand that is awesome, and she's the artistic one, so we like to kind of do that stuff together. So we're going to start kind of doing that for fun, and we'll start doing some of our own stuff, and then who knows, man, if you got a pair you want to do, bring them, we'll do it. It's I like doing shit that feels rewarding like that. It's the same as, it's cool to create. It's the same thing I'm doing here with this podcast, right? I mean, essentially this is art in the form of spoken word and opinion, I suppose. But the point of this is it's like art, and I'm trying to create. I'm trying to put good stuff out in the atmosphere. So that's my modus operandi to do the BAMF podcast. But some of these, every one of these episodes, my goal is to be a little different, man. Some of this is, I guess my own version of self-help, or could be me just sort of venting. I might just talk about fun shit. I might tell jokes. I might do impressions. I do a little bit of all that shit. So, and if you don't believe me, you really should. But that's what I want to do, man. I want to keep putting good stuff out in the atmosphere. Another place I've been taking some, maybe motivation, but also killing time. If you're looking for a great place to kill what can be hours and hours and hours, go on TikTok. It's not just 17-year-olds dancing. It is everything. It is the ultimate rabbit hole. And by and large, the reason I've probably been spending a little more time on that and a little less time on the other shit, it's mostly positivity, man. It's people creating. It's people trying to be funny. It's people trying to do, building things and creating things. And I take great inspiration from creative people, So it's something to do, man. If you haven't been on it, check it out. I know it's maybe owned by China or something like that, but who knows, and maybe a year or two from now I'll feel like that's bullshit like the rest of them too. But and I know I'm using Facebook to pimp my stuff, but man, Facebook's on some other shit right now. Instagram and Twitter, they're on some other shit right now. if you're blind to that, and I'm not going to get down that rabbit hole of conspiracies, but it's you're only seeing what they want you to see, man, and a lot of it ain't good, you know. And likewise, some of our friends are not putting good stuff on there; they're putting bad stuff on there. So spend your time on TikTok. You know, you can watch comedians say funny shit. You can watch clips about UFOs. You can watch a guy building a deck, somebody remodeling a house, people fishing, you know, golfing, trick shots, cigar aficionados. It's pretty well rounded. Obviously, once you spend some time on it, it kind of breaks up. There's a For You, which is sort of random stuff that pops up, and then it's the, you know, the people you're following. But man, I find myself, it's like I'll get on that shit at like 10:30 at night. Next thing you know, I'm looking down, it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, what the hell? I just watched like 20 videos of a guy building a deck. I'm not even into that, but it's pretty fun to watch. You know, but I've got love for anybody that's trying to just do something cool and create, right? Being creative is stimulating. It takes balls to share what you've made. I like people that got balls, right? I like, you know, having guts and doing that is it's powerful, man. It's really powerful. So spend some time on TikTok and, you know, watch somebody talking about dogs and Bob Lazar talking about UFOs and like Tupac tribute. It's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. And again, it's mostly positivity, at least for now. So I want to spend my time on positivity and not on the negativity that is on Twitter, man. Good God. Good God. So I'll tell you a funny story. So it's probably November, okay? So, you know, we don't get our news from newspapers, and quite frankly, the news is sort of bullshit. And so I try to get my opinions and my facts from 25 million places, okay? And then I sort of form my own opinions based off that. But like any Metro Detroiter, one of the things I used to follow on Twitter was the Detroit News. The Detroit News has become very, very, and maybe it's always been, and maybe I'm just started paying attention to it, but it's super liberal. And if you're a liberal, that's fine. But, you know, if you're not, or if you're in between, it's become more of a opinion than facts, like a lot of news things. And I don't even remember what the article they published, but it was just some, you know, bullshit smear piece about something. I don't know, right? Trump or whatever. And I remember just feeling sort of just irritated. Now, one of my guidelines is I try to never ever attack any individual. Okay, if I don't have anything nice to say, I don't say it, except Ohio, Schiffer. But sorry, Erica. But you know, if somebody puts something up on Facebook or Twitter that I don't agree with, for the most part, I just tune it out. Okay. But if it's a business or a publication and they're going to kind of air their dirty laundry, I don't really have an issue with throwing an opinion out there. So whatever article this was, and again, I don't really remember, and that part's not significant, I just said, congratulations, Detroit News, you have now become the Washington Post, comma, birdcage liner, right? And that was it. So I had some probably 26-year-old with his fucking avatar who, you know, using some pseudonym and some fake picture, who probably lives in his parents' basement, you know, try to come at me, basically. And so immediately I typed this like full page diatribe, or 280 characters, I suppose. And in the immortal words of Herm Edwards, who was one of my favorite people on the planet, I didn't hit send. Almost did, man. Came really, really close. But I feel I'm better than that, to get in some Twitter battle with some nitwit poking fun at my opinion because he doesn't agree with it, because that is against everything I stand for, right? I certainly have my opinions. If you want to talk one-on-one, I will certainly give them to you. But I'm not going to be critical of others' opinion. To me, that's the fucking problem right now. The problem is we've lost the ability to have civil discourse. So I don't do it. So I didn't hit send, and my hair was still on fire for probably a day or two, but then I eventually felt good about not getting into that shit. But that is what Twitter is. Twitter is just overwhelmingly negative. And again, back to one of my earlier comments, is that, listen, these places, they want us to kill each other. They want us to be at each other's throats. They want us to disagree. The more fire, the more vitriol, the more venom in the, on their pages, the more people are clicking, the more people are looking, the more money they're getting for advertising, the more we're feeding into their machine. So, again, fuck Jack Dorsey, fuck Mark Zuckerberg. I hope they regulate their shit. Because now they're getting to where they're censoring free speech. I know there's a couple people that I am friends with that Facebook or Twitter have just deleted your account because they didn't like what you had to say. Now, probably it was started from other people didn't like what you had to say. But listen, we've got freedom of speech in this country. Okay? And that needs to continue. We need to be able to say what we want to say. And we don't have to agree, but stop being an asshole. If people don't agree with you, that's okay. You don't have to follow them. You should. It's good to see other opinions, but don't be nasty. Don't be nasty. If you got nothing to say, don't fucking chime in on other people's posts and call them a monster or some other stupid name, or because they post something you don't agree with. That's infantile as fuck, right? No matter how immature you thought their post was, the second you do that, you're twice as immature. So stop doing that shit. Let's come together, y'all. So, man, I kind of ran over my time. I'm going to blame that first 2 minutes on the good Reverend Al Green. But let's make some love and happiness. Let's get it. Love you all. Keep the comments coming, man. I dig it. Looking for more subject matter. Hopefully I don't ramble too long, and hopefully you enjoy it. And if you don't, that's all right.